Hello, and welcome to another edition of Extra Connections here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr., the JLJ of JLJ Media. Yes, my online network. I have over 45 shows ranging from Star Wars to soap operas and everything in between. Extra Connections is my show I've had for about 3 years, and I've had him on the show before. They even told him he should run for mayor. Well, you know what? He is running for mayor. Running for mayor of a city that I actually know, a city that I worked in for years, a city where my godson was raised, Oakland, California, a historic city, an iconic city. And he says, I'm running for mayor, and you need to vote for me. My friend, Seneca Scott. Hello, Seneca.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure.
Really, excited. We had a good time last time.
Oh, great time last time. We had a great time last time. And you went on.
A lot has happened.
Apparently, a lot has happened since you've been on. So I want to first I want to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Getting my rest and making sure I cook more, and eat healthy and work hard to win the selection. We had the Black Joy Parade yesterday.
I saw that. Yes, I like that.
I'm still buzzing from that. You know, I'm still wearing the same clothes. It's okay though. I got the t-shirt there at the event, but I wanted to wear it on the interview. So I'll put it back on.
No, because my thing is, you're saying this, but there's an actual point that when you decide to campaign for something, that means you are out there all the time. You need stamina. So how important is your diet, routine, sleep? How's it all for you? How's that for you?
I think it depends on what kind of campaign you run. Nowadays, some people, you don't even know what they look like in person because no one ever sees them. You know, but I'm a boots on the ground kind of person, and I get around and I do my farming stuff. So for me, it's very important that not only I be able to walk and keep up, but also reflect the lifestyle that we're trying to tell people to live, right? You need to look the part. If you're telling people that your diet and eating from your garden and stuff is important, you want to look good. You want to tell people your age and have them go, oh man, you look great. And you know, and we represent a picture of health. And so I think that it's important for leaders to appear, and I'm not like super in shape, like buff guy or anything, but you know, I think it is important for you to be healthy and your heart is healthy and you can stretch and, you know, ride your bike around and whatnot.
You know, I'll be 53 in a few months. I tell my age all the time. I said, I don't
know. I like it.
All right, one of my grandkids just had his birthday today. So I'm a grandfather of 4. I was telling you, you can look good for a long time. Take care of yourself. Literally, take care of yourself. It's true. I drink lots of water. That's one thing. One of my tricks. I do, and I get outside. So I want to know also with this. Okay, you're a community activist, advocate. You're always out there doing it. That's why you were on the show the first time. We know you're out there. You are a boots on the kind of ground guy. We know that. So you do that. So how do you go from that decision of going from being on that side of things to governments? This is a government job. It's a government position. How do you say, okay, I'm doing this, I've been doing it for years. Now I want to run for mayor.
It's a little audacious, I'll admit. But I think that when you're looking for what makes a leader and what that position requires, I'm definitely more than qualified for it. I've been directors for labor unions. I've hired and fired staff. I know how to build, I don't like to say build a team, that's kind of cliche, but I know how to work with people. And the real purpose of leadership is to know what you're good to lead at. And at the same time, what their leadership is, so you can be their empowered follower, right? So when you're talking about how many different things you need to run a city, it's a lot, right? So there's no way one person can cover all of those skill sets. But if you have the ability to find good talent, and put people to work, right? Empower people and share that vision and get other people involved. That's more effective leadership. So we don't really have that represented in our current government. And we also don't have people who live amongst the people so they actually know what's going on, right? So that's another big part, is not being disconnected from the needs of the entire range. So we work with people from commercial property developers to urban farmers to just being another neighbor, right? So I think that makes us a much more effective leader. And we need to change what these positions sort of entail. What if, look at our city right now. I mean, you live in LA, right? Inglewood?
Yep, I do.
So, I mean, they cleaned up for that Super Bowl.
Yes, right.
But
business as usual right now again. It's back to
Yeah.
business as usual. That whole week, I was laughing. They were dusting and sweeping outside and planting trees. And I was like, oh, okay. 'Cause I live around the corner from the stadium. So trust me, I know exactly what was going on.
Oh, I know, right where you're at. So yeah, they made the whole area look beautiful.
Oh yeah. But then they left. It's back to normal.
And give it 2 months and you'll be back to, you know, whatever you can do, because people don't have any places to live. You don't have any type of leadership that has, it's all performative, right? So you need people who are pragmatic, but also who are compassionate, but not that fake compassion that sort of masked as contempt if you really look at the actions of it, right? And I can give some examples there after I finish the question, but we know the issues, we know all the players. I can tell you everybody who works for city government, what they do, what I think about them, right? Like, this is more of not an Oakland Center podcast, so I won't go into that level of detail for the general audience, but let's just say that it's government as usual. A lot of the way our city is structured, you have each city council sort of its own fiefdom, because we don't really have we have a hybrid mayor, strong mayor, city manager, so it's not really clear who can do anything. So there's an enormous amount of confusion and lack of accountability. So I think that we have the courage and leadership to shore that up and lead courageously and actually speak for all the people in Oakland, which is a lot of people, right? But also represent the flatlands, which is, I like to say, older depth, right? We're definitely, without any shred of imagination or doubt, older depth from the city and from, I don't like to say people in the hills, because there'll be Black people in the hills, right? But, you know, the affluent and asset class of Oakland, they owe the people a debt, and that reparational debt needs to be paid in a holistic way that they can agree to and feel good about, because no one's gonna want to feel like you're taking something from them, whether you feel like you owe it or not, right? So you know what that leads to. So we're not, you know, I wouldn't be running for mayor. I would be in the hills like a warlord as I was on that energy, right? Like that's the whole, I got to take it back from you. No, we want to have a leadership that can talk to people, kind of get all the different sides and be able to make a deal and negotiate. But coming from a place where you're still representing people on the margins, you're representing the poor, right, and working class, and small businesses that really need help right now to come back from the pandemic. And I feel like we got the skills to make it all happen, right? And being a person of the people, Oakland's neighbor, people are loving it. So it's definitely, sorry, I'm getting blown up over here.
Yeah, of course, you're the man.
No, yeah, I gotta turn my phone off for the interview. But yes, it's really, really humbling to be in this position. And we saw, okay, we'll go for it. We'll put our platform out there. Yeah. And then look what happened. The media covered us really well. Now you work in media, so you can tell a puff piece when you see it. It's here's a side-by-side of the problem, and here's Seneca, and here's us giving him, you know, alley hoop and softball questions about his lawsuit against the city for the homeless. And like everything is perfect framing, right? And we work hard for that framing. It's not accidental that we're getting that. And there's substance behind that too, that I think that people are gonna find out as we start to advance our campaign.
So there's several things I want to unpack in there. So one, folks, I completely agree with you. To be a good leader, I always feel you have to have a good team around you. You have to surround yourself with people who may be even better than you are, so to speak, in some ways. that will help you fulfill your vision and lift all of you up at the same time. People should not be afraid of hiring smart people who know their jobs. That's not a problem. People hate to do that. That's not a problem. You should be hiring people who know specific things that can help your government run better. That's number one. But number two, you're also saying that you are a person of the people, which I said. You can watch our previous video. You can talk about it. He's out there. He knows what's going on. He knows exactly how the life works because he's living it. So in some ways, how is that not better to have somebody who actually is out there and knows the day-to-day shit, so to speak, that goes on, the ups and downs and greats and bigs and highs and lows, to then go in government and go, you know, I know how this section is feeling. I know how that section is feeling. I think it's a great idea. Another thing you said too is the whole unification. Very much of the, what do you call it, the village mentality. It's like everyone should come together. I'm not going to just talk to the people. I know Oakland Hills. There's some people with the money up there, but then they got folks.
But I get
there's money over there, and they got folks. So I know what you're talking about. I'm from 13th and Broadway over there, working. It's kind of crazy over there, Chinatown and things. So I know that whole area. But I'm saying, I like what you're saying. Is that let's get everybody together to work as a team, and say, okay, what can we do for you? What can we do for you? And hopefully try to make something work where it's about Oakland. Making it run smoother, right?
Yeah. So there's a little magic trick that you use to do that works every single time if you can pull it off.
Okay.
What do you think it is, James?
Oh, I don't know.
You know me. Come on.
I know that's what I'm saying. I just want to hear you. I'm curious. I want to hear you say it. I'm sure. Okay. I'm like, come on, Seneca. Tell me what it is.
Growing food.
Yep, I love it. I love it.
And community livestock.
Yep. Urban farming. Love it. Love it.
Always works every single time. As long as it's for everyone. Not like this is my bed and my garden and I grew my stuff. There's people who do that model, and I guess I am dissonant. That's not a community garden. That's your garden. Just call it what it is, right? But for a community garden, it has a different need. As a space of incubation and space of learning and teaching. And so when you have that, you're creating the life. It vibrates. Yeah. Everybody likes the goats. I'm calling myself Goat Mayor, right? That's gonna be my TikTok name. You can find us. We're gonna start it next week. I don't do TikToks. I have to find one of the youngsters.
Oh, that's so
TikTok. So we're just gonna give them all the pictures of urban farming and goats and chickens and bees and life on the farm. And when I visit other people's farms and, agriculture center and serve as a space to teach about that type of resilience and preparedness to growing food and community livestock, right? And just use that form for that purpose. But it works. If it works in the lower bottoms of West Oakland, the way it has, it works everywhere. Everybody likes something like horses walking through the neighborhood, like when the urban cowboys come through here. People love that stuff, right? So we need to just kind of reimagine, I guess, for a way to do that with this land that's vacant, feed people who need the food, and then it's more nutritious than, right? Nutrient dense. It's loud. And
it's true.
You don't have to truck it in. It's available right now. Like the produce I get, it doesn't last that long. I have to be real careful. I got to get it kind of like close to when I'm using it. It's getting rotting quicker and quicker if I'm not checking it there. So it's another way to it. And if it's that close, that means you've lost a lot of nutritional density. The longer the fruit is off the vine, so to speak, right, the less it's actually doing the food thing in your body, right? Like it gives you something, but it don't give you the whole thing. Where if you grow it yourself, you get the whole thing. You grow it and you pick it, you eat it, you get 100% of the density. And you're talking hours where the percentages start to go. So the best thing to do is grow your own. It's cheaper. And you can do it in the community. You don't take a lot of space. We live in Oakland, California, where the weather is like almost perfectly
I
Mediterranean.
know. Yeah.
We grow food, right? And we don't grow enough here.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a shortcut to bring people together. Another thing is you can't ignore like burnt out cars and bullet shot up cars. Like I walk by a car, it's still there right now. That car shot up and burnt out. It's been there for like 2 months now. Right? You just gonna let that sit there and not go clean it up, right? Like every time you walk by that, and none of us can just lift it up with our minds. We got the X-Men, you know what I'm saying? We gotta, I wish we could, everybody who walks by that car with, well, most people anyway, I hope, we could just levitate the car and, you know, throw that joint over here or something like that. But we can't, and we gotta walk by it, and you feel ashamed every time you walk by something like that. Every time you walk by somebody sleeping in some trash, in a sleeping bag, you feel ashamed, they feel ashamed. It's just not a good look, right? So you can't have that. And it takes a courageous leader to say, I'm gonna go person by person, because we got $3.95 billion to spend in the next 2 years in Oakland. That's our budget.
Okay.
So a lot of money, right? It's only 500,000 people here. Do the math real quick, a lot of money, right? So, especially when you do the math of how many poor people there are, right? And then how many homeless people there are, which is about 10,000, and we have about 360 encampments. Think about that. So about 0.5%, I'm sorry, 10,000. So that's 2%. If it's 500,000 people, that's crazy. Come on, man. Come on, that's crazy.
That's not
right.
Good. Yeah.
So that's just unacceptable. And you have to go person by person to get the person's needs, because there's not, in the housing in the traditional sense, it's nowhere near enough for that many people.
Yeah.
So you have to build unconventional housing. You have to triage and go person by person to see if this person's on drugs, are they strung out, are they on drugs and have mental problems, do they just have mental problems, are they just homeless, sleeping in the car because they poor, and, or various mixes thereof, because it's such a nuanced thing, right? And then have a actual place of action. And what I mean by courageous is this: if you go to someone and say, okay, person A, you have a drug problem, you are seriously addicted to meth, you're psychotic, you're not cleaning yourself, right? You're not eating regularly, you have whatever these health conditions that we can ascertain right there in front of you with the specialist, you have to get this help. The help is, there's an inpatient drug place for you to go.
Yeah.
And we want you to go to that. If you don't go to that, you got to go camp over here.
Right.
You can't do any of the stuff you're doing. Now, you know they ain't gonna leave, bro.
Right.
Right? Like, you know they're not leaving, bro. Right? So when you do that, you know you're setting them up to fail. Eventually, you're gonna have to 5150 people, and not for no 2-day cycle.
Right.
You're gonna have to actually change the laws and start piloting programs where you put people in inpatient mental health, but not the old way with the electric shock therapy and the drugs, but the new way. Like, why are we dodging this reality of how bad the problem is? And we just go, this is escape avoidance behavior, right? It's just not okay. That's not good leadership, right? Good leadership does not do that. You got to take your head out the sand, and you got to give people the help they need. And that means you're going to have to force them. Because, and I don't use the word force lightly, but what Amy Whitehouse say, rest in peace to Amy Whitehouse.
Yes.
I like Amy. So but you know the song that made her famous? I tried to have her go to rehab, and I said, no.
Yep.
What she died of? She died of drug overdose, man.
Yep.
Come on, right? So people don't just go get no help, especially if you don't enable them. So I'm gonna go into some nuanced experiences that I can point out in Oakland that I have a problem with.
Okay. Well, first, before you do that, so I want you to do this. Okay.
Oh, no problem. You take this is your interview, because you let me get all it out.
No, I'm here to spotlight. Make sure everything is heard from you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you. That's what we're doing. I'm part of that support system. Okay. So basically, what you said, you touched on a couple more things I enjoy. Well, we've had this talk before, of course. We're both farmers. I think we both were farmers in a former life. I think so that's what it was. I have a show now about farm and ag. I just finished doing it about half an hour ago, and I love talking about urban
Oh,
gardening and
beautiful.
farming. It's called Lott Beneath the Soil. It's a fun show to watch. But here's the thing. So, like my buddy Ron Finley down here, the gangster gardener, he's out there in South LA for years talking about planting things. Because folks, what Seneca and he and myself are talking about is giving people something first to do, something to have pride in. It beautifies your neighborhood. And it also teaches kids how to actually raise something, to care for something, to see something actually grow. It sounds so like kumbaya and all that, but it really is something.
It works.
There's nothing, it works.
It works.
There's nothing like seeing tomatoes come out or string beans or lemons or
Or
whatever.
cannabis.
Or
Take a
cannabis.
teenager, they be smoking, they want to see the cannabis plant grow. They're like, that's wow. I remember the first time I grew a plant. It was amazing.
It's natural. This is where we come from, right? It's where we come from. So, and that's what's saying, it's going back to that village thing. It's like, it's where we come from. And I'll tell you, in LA, South LA and Southwest Los Angeles, where I live, it's been proven to work with the urban farming. And my yard itself, I have a huge yard with lots of things I grow. When my loquats come in, I have the kids, they would come over with baskets, say, okay, that's time to harvest. And I have so many of them. I have so many of them. So I have some for myself, because I like mine for myself. But I have them come over and they actually take them. They learn how to actually, it's how you pull this one, it's how you do that. And my lemons, same thing. Go some lemons, come on over. The kids love it, they love it, but they're learning something at the same time. And when they walk by my garden, we respect it. Like they don't throw shit in my yard. They don't do anything crazy. They literally go, we love, oh, there's a garden. Really, people with dogs walk by, love it. I think there's something to be said about what you're saying. It's a foundational thing that actually brings community together. And you said, seeing horses, we have horses, we have rodeo here in Compton. They come on down, we see them. I ride horses, and they're like, you ride horses? Black people ride horses. I'm like, they're a black cowboy. So then now we're teaching and informing people, not just kids, adults going, there's black cowboy. Yes, there are black cowboys. Well, but they didn't know. They literally did not know. So now they're learning that part of it too. That we're not just this. We're all born gangsters. I mean, like what's that? I mean, we were born.
But he's buying all the land, Bill Gates.
Thank you. But,
Okay.
but hello, we came from places that it didn't. So anyway, so I think that's one of the things, Seneca, that you're talking about. I want to make sure people understand it.
Well, to expand on that, it serves as what's called a third place, and that is a place where neighbors' worth is not determined by necessarily their socioeconomic status, but of their value to the neighborhood. So, are you funny? Are you a healer? Do you grow good food? Or do you play like a guitar or whatever makes you unique? You're able to come to that place and congregate amongst your neighbors. That's away from like commercialized stores or like school or just, right? And we used to have those places in our neighborhoods, and especially in places like West Oakland, because of the food desert, and it hasn't been like invested in the way that benefits the people. You don't have those places for people to go. People go to church less. They go to all of these institutions in some way serve as a third place that is essential in a healthy society to figure out its nuance with each other, right? So we can work our differences out without the othering and the clashing. And what you're seeing now is even in places like Oakland, you have this moderates and progressives, and they fight. Right? Like it's not like the left and the right. It's like
not all.
The left and the right inside the left, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. But people accept these titles.
Yeah.
Or weaponize these titles.
Yes.
Right? And it's not healthy, and it's run its course, and it's time to go a different way. I think people are ready to like receive that and looking for someone to vote for that's not afraid to talk about that.
Yes. So yeah, so I like that. So yes, I think it's all what you said. That's great about that too. What it sounds like to me, many things you're talking about literally are building from the inside out. It's kind of like, let's go deep in and dig our way out. That's what it seems like to me. And you're like, that's the key for you. It's like,
we got to get it out the mud, like the kids say now.
Exactly.
Right? Oakland's in the mud. We gotta get it out the mud. So,
Mhm.
you know,
What are some of the things that you are like, this needs to be done in Oakland, California?
what are some of the what? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Some of the things that you feel need to be done in Oakland, California. You
Okay,
mentioned just
first,
a little thing, but let's get
I
to some
talked
of
about
things.
the homeless and getting
Yes.
more housing already.
Yep.
We need we're like really low on our number of police and like the
Oh,
600,
really?
and it's supposed to be like over 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So I hear a lot of talk on both sides. But I
Okay,
don't
how do
think
you do that?
anyone-
Okay, so in Seneca, how do you do that? This climate, like how
Okay,
does that work?
so I don't see anyone attacking a formula itself. Like how many officers do you need for a city? For a city of 430 or whatever thousand people in this geographical density. What is the number of officers, assuming that there are well-trained, non-racist
Okay.
murderers, right?
Right.
We can get them there. What's that number? Because I hear the number is supposed to be 1,100.
Okay.
Nobody is giving an alternative number. Right now we have 600 or something, and cops are leaving every day.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
We're literally without rule of law in Oakland. They're literally like this. We're like right here by the Purge. Remember the Purge movies?
Yeah.
The Purge?
Yeah, produce, yes.
We like right here. The gangs are already formed. The marauders are already there. They're robbing cannabis dispensaries 20, 30, 40 deep. So they're not being caught, right?
Yeah.
We don't have a rule of law right now. It's a scary situation for everyone, and everyone feels it, and everyone's on edge, and it's affecting businesses.
Wow.
It's affecting people's money because
Wow.
nobody want to go spend some money. They want to stay home because they're scared to go downtown. Right, I'm meeting with businesses about that right now, about how they're losing money because it's not safe and there's no police response, right? Or when you get robbed and you call the police and it's taking an hour to come because they just don't have enough people. And so people know this, right? It's in the paper. You act like people don't read the paper and the news or Twitter. So like they know that the cops ain't coming. So it's just only going to keep increasing in frequency, and they have. So we need more police. We need to stop this antagonizing the police chief. We got a black police chief from West Oakland. Like, look, man, I'm not really like the most law. I can't say it too loud. I do my thing,
Yes.
I'm not gonna criminalize myself, but I'm not like, Johnny be good or nothing like that. Right? I've been in cannabis my whole adult life before it was all legal and stuff like that and safe. So, and all the things that come with that. So I don't be liking cops in my business, the police in my business and whatnot, but they have a role in public safety. And if you have a police chief from the hood who's had personal experiences with gun violence that affected his own family and his brother and his mother, the people he lost, like many of us, rest in peace to all the people who fell, right, that we lost. And he's felt that with us as a community. And he actually trying to work hard as your police chief. We fought for that kind of stuff. Why you antagonizing that man? Like, he like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he like, he's doing too much, right? We be doing too much and it's politicizing everything. And that's performative.
Yeah.
That's what I call performative politics. And you putting on a good show, but it's not leading to anything tangible that's actually improving the quality of our lives or the vitality of our businesses. And we need somebody who can actually do both. Understand that we do need to change, right? Like there are fundamental issues with the way that we structure our banking system and capitalism. And we do need to take our power back with food production.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I talk about growing food so much. You want to take your food as power. The first step to taking your power back is taking your food and your water back. If you own your food production and you own your water production, then how can anybody tell you what to do? I got a place to live. Now next is your fuel. Now that's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
That means that somebody's deliberately trying, if your government will not allow you to own your food production and water consumption, and they force you to not do that, by controlling your energy that you need in order to do that, and forcing you to be energy independent, then what kind of government is that? That's a predatory government, right? Now we have a whole different conversation we're not gonna have on no Zoom, okay? Right. So that's where I'm at with it. So that's why I say I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm a post-partisan solutionary. So I can go left or right to whatever y'all boxes where you want to put in your politics that don't have nothing to do with people doing anything. And people ready for that, man. We over. If you look at the electorate in the United States, there are more people who have not declared a party who are eligible to vote than both parties combined. That is how apathetic people are. True. Right? So I know that from being a union organizer, you want to overcome apathy. You got the easiest way to get pissed people off. So you educate, agitate, organize. Yes. That's what the unions do. You got to agitate, you got to get them mad, get them off the apathetic. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what we're trying to do in Oakland. Grow the electorate, get people who not registered to register, get people who ready for another way of politics, a shot at it, with a legit candidate who has a track record, where you know they understand the budget, you know they understand how to negotiate and how to do all the governmental things. You know, you see that Cornell pennant right there. Yeah. So we out here. We could do the Brainiac, corporate stuff too, right? And read all the books and vet all the lawyers. But most importantly, we connect with the neighbors, and we can raise our overall level of sophistication up from a more participatory, got it right there, form of government that includes the brain trust of Oakland. The biggest failure of our leadership in Oakland, I'm talking about Libby Shah mainly, because she sucks. I can't say that enough how bad she is. But how do you have a group of people that's this amazing in Oakland? Like, I'm at Black Joy Parade yesterday looking around, I'm like, this is the most talented group of people, and this is just the Black people, because it's like 90% Black, right? And Oakland's only like 20% Black or something like that. Right. So this is only like a fifth of Oakland represented. And even that 1/5 of Oakland represented has enough talent in that 1/5 to help this city be the best city in the world. So how can, you know what I'm saying, a mayor or a leader not connect with the people that has that much talent and intention? And not only the opposite of that, they treat it as adversarial, like it's a problem. Like you want to like not be accountable or not be seen. You're supposed to be in the town square every day. What she got? You can never find no Libby Shaft. Well, like it's annoying, right? So you vote for me, I'm in town square every day. I eat my lunch and I'm out here, bro. Right? You can come find me in the garden. You can come find me on my schedule in public. We don't need to be in endless meetings and circle jerks about nothing that's not leading to nothing. We can have that amongst the people, right? So to as much as I can push the boundaries on that form of leadership, we will in office, so.
Okay, some other important things to ask, of course, which that's good. Like I said, you're out there, so you're out there doing that. They don't know the police say no to the police thing. That's interesting. Okay, so like I said, the city of Oakland is very diverse. Actually, you don't realize that. They think it's just Black folks. That's the image. Like Inglewood, I think it's English is Black folks. I mean, we're here clearly, but there's not the majority of what's going on here. So as mayor, just for the record, because we're on record, you are for all the people. Like you're for the LGBTQI plus community. You're here for the disabled. You're here for that's mental or physical disabilities. You're here for old folks like me, young folks that are growing up. I mean, I just make sure it's all kind of been said. It's all, you're here for everybody, right?
Yes. Anybody who's been to Ocala knows that, because they're safe, and that safety comes from being free to express whoever you are and have your personhood respected. I don't mean tolerated. Tolerated is a minimum expectation.
Okay, I know.
I don't like to be tolerated. I don't know anybody who likes to be tolerated.
No, they don't.
I want to be embraced and loved and accepted, right? So while I am feisty, right, because I have an opinion and I like to express it, yes, I do. I like to do it from a place of caring and willing to be taught and willing to be led and at least leave people leaving that conversation feeling that I was receptive to and respectful of their lived experiences. And you do that by me not taking anything personal, understanding that most people attacks or acts of aggression towards you are projections of their own insecurity, and thus so are your own. So when you're acting as the aggressor or you're telling somebody something you don't like about them, you're usually projecting your own insecurities. So usually we want to dial that back a little bit and just taste the words, before you say them.
Yeah.
So I do try to be as thoughtful as possible, and at the same time as being outspoken and being willing to be outspoken because I'm willing to be taught. And that's the balance. So I can be as outspoken and feisty as I want to be if I can immediately let you do that as well.
Yeah.
Or if you don't like that energy, correct my energy to what's palatable for your consumption, right? Because as an organizer, I'm trying to reach the voter. Right. At the end of the day, the responsibility is on me to connect, not the other person.
That's true.
Right? So if the meaning of communication, the response you get, and I want to get the vote, and somebody to like me and believe in me, I need to adjust my style to them. But I still start at my own baseline because I like to do that because it's fun. I have fun in life. Can't be boring. You gotta, be yourself unapologetically, but also be willing to, adjust and meet people halfway. So that's our style and our brand. And it makes for like lively conversations. It makes for a lack of apathy because people are emotional. And some people aren't the biggest fan of that brand. And that's okay, right? But I think that I don't focus on any one community, although I am handicapped, I'm half deaf, right? So I understand the frustrations of being handicapped, of being a minority, of not coming from, money or anything like that. I was fortunate enough to have two parents who are very loving and really smart people. And I was like poor and nothing like that, but we didn't have no type of money like a lot of people at Cornell there. They got, the wealthy class. And I care about everybody just feeling safe.
Yeah.
So we don't allow none of that. We the anti-bully bully. You feel me? Yes. We would bring some bully energy to the bullies.
Yes.
If you were meanie, we may come see you and give you some smoke.
Yes.
Right? Because we're gonna guard our community from that aggression because no one needs to deal with that. Especially the children and the elders. And I talk about the children and the elders all the time because we just forgot them. You know how many elders are homeless, bro?
A lot. Their family.
We deal with elders. I think she just got housing yesterday, but we were dealing with an elder in her 80s. I think she may be in her 70s. We got her age wrong, but she is super mentally ill. We found her shivering in her tent. About to die before they got services to Urban Compassion Project and Vincent Williams who found her with the other neighbors. It's insane, right? And the hospital is refusing her care because she's not vaccinated. Like this lady got mental illness. She's scared of you. She's scared of the hospital. Like she's 70-something years old. Can you just help the lady? Are you serious right now? Like it is. So for a place like Oakland and the Bay to talk all this compassion, we don't emulate it when it matters the most.
No.
It doesn't look like it's compassionate when I look around.
Right.
And we have the largest levels of wealth disparity.
Yes.
That's inexcusable. That is inexcusable for our elites to puff out their chest, engage in these performative politics, and it's mainly white people, so this white woke stuff that we're doing. And meanwhile, it's the most wealth disparity here in the country.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Like the math ain't mathing. Like the kids be saying, where is the math? Where is the money? Where is the thriving local businesses that's owned by minorities?
Right.
If Black Lives really matter, I want to see it. I want to see some money. I want to see some support, some mentorship in these business spaces, the incubation in these real estate engagement spaces, right? So we can compete. Which, of course, come on.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's the thing too. It's in all infrastructures need as I said, I will make sure I say it out loud that you are for everybody, because there are a lot of other people who want to be seen also. It's about being seen and being heard. And many of the concerns, I only mention it because many of the concerns are like everybody else's. There's a lot of sameness. It's just that it's like no one talks to them or includes them. But a lot of their needs is like everybody else's needs. Everybody wants a place to live, a decent job, and be left alone. Like, we all want the same stuff. But some candidates to say, screw the LGBTQI movement. Who cares about the handicap? I'm not. I'll build some ramps. See you later. They don't even see how diverse that community is. It's a whole diverse community there. They just go, oh well, I won't deal with the South Asians, but I'll handle the Chinese. Like some candidates, I see them literally catering to certain groups. They think, well, that's the group I want. That's it. Like, but there's others too that are sitting here who could totally be on your side. We give attention. So I'm glad you're like that. And also another thing, I want you to say it on this show. You said it on the last show. I want you to say it on this show why you call it cannabis and not the other words that are used. I love it.
You mean weed
I love your
marijuana?
reason. I love your reason. So I want you to say it.
So cannabis is the name of the plant. I don't mind weed. Weed is cool. I don't like marijuana,
right?
Because it's politically was used as a slur. And it's okay to use that too. Right? At the end of the day, if you're not mean, it's intention. But I prefer cannabis because it's more esteemed and dignified. It reminds people that it's a plant that you grow, right? And that it's a medicine, that it is, it's cousins with hops.
Yeah, it is.
And beer, right? Like a family and cousins that you can play together with and get the family together and have some fun. And I just love it. I think it's a great thing to get the community together. Lots of people indulge in cannabis in some form or another, be it tinctures or CBDs.
Yes.
Right? So it's something that has a lot of community healing properties.
Yep.
That needs to be invested in and freed from the shackles of commercial oversight. And that's one of the reasons why cannabis is so impactful, because it's easy to grow as tomatoes.
Right.
Now, as a lot of people can't grow tomatoes either, right? They can't grow anything. But if you can grow a tomato, you can grow some cannabis, right?
Everybody has green thumbs. But those of us who do have green thumbs, yes, we can do it. Everybody has them. But I was laughing. I know I like, because you said you were using the word cannabis as you came on the show. And I remember that from last time we talked about it. It always stuck with me that I like the fact that, because it's true, marijuana is used to kind of criminalize people. It's this whole, and you're right, it takes it away from the actual plant. It becomes this thing that's like bad and gateway drug and all these things where I'm like, but yet my 85-year-old ex-8 Navy, ex-airport policeman loves the CBD oil lotion that comes from that plant. Like, it's like he doesn't care about the other. It's not criminalized. It's not him. It's like, and then I have my aunt who smokes a joint every once in a while. She's in her 80s, so it helps relieve some joint pain. Like, or I eat edible every once in a while. It feels good. I had a long day and edible works. Like, I feel like we take it away from just when I like the way you said that. Like, you say marijuana, it just makes it sound like this really bad thing, and it makes it really small. When you say cannabis, it's I feel like it's a large industry. It's a large, broader term. That's why I want you to say it, guys. I always love that about you. I like
the
that.
law also uses marijuana. So
they do. I know. Hopefully that'll change. Let's see, get people like you elected in places and that actually work, because language is power and language is very important, folks. It really is.
Well, it's very important. And what names and words are important. It's incantation, right? That's what abracadabra means. And if you look at cannabis, that's how you trace. If you look at the word, you can trace it back to some of the very first food that we cultivated, being fermented hemp seeds, right? Through the inclusion of cannabis and healing and holistic rituals as early as we have recorded history. So you remove all of that when you change the name from cannabis and its root to things like marijuana and weed. And it was not unintentional that happened. They did that on purpose because they understood that you're not gonna be able to, have a bunch of these drugs you sell to people. If people have access to something that's a lot more acceptable, or accessible, if you didn't have all these restrictions on it.
Yeah.
Like the accessibility is only constrained by the restrictions and the taxation and barriers to entry into the legal business, right? And because it's illegal, you have all this black market, all this nasty stuff, people spraying types of stuff and just doing whatever to get the harvest in and sell it, and and then you mess it with the water, and it's just it's like you should just let people do their thing and not have it illegal, and then we'd be good to go, right?
I agree.
We don't restrict how many, like I use tomatoes a lot. Nobody restricts how many tomatoes you can grow.
No, they don't.
You can grow as many tomatoes as you want to grow. If you want to put a tomato plant in every single square inch of your house and your roof and be Mr. Tomato Head in your neighborhood, nobody is going to call the police. You can do it all day long. The store sells tomatoes. The store's not over here lobbying like, hey, man, go Mr. Tomato Head, man, doing too much, right? He in our pockets, right? So I say that to make a joke of it,
right?
Because I like to make jokes because it's funny.
Yeah.
But also, like, come on. But when it comes to cannabis, or when it comes to any other plant medicine, we want to have all these restrictions on it. There's a reason for that, and that's nothing to do with public health. That's absolutely nothing to do with
No, of course not.
Yeah. Right? So we need to resist that. It's time to stand against all things that are predatory. It's time for the people to rise up.
Yes.
Right? By rise up, I mean actually vote for people who are courageous enough to stand on that and run on those things and not be afraid to put them on in public, right now on their website or whatever.
I think people, I try to be compassionate. I understand a lot of folks feel hopeless and feel like they can't make a difference. But I'm telling you, folks, you can. We've seen it happen. We elected a Black president. We saw it happen on a national level.
Yeah, we saw it.
So anything before that, maybe you didn't see it, but you see it in some cities and local governments. We've seen it. When people come together, bills get passed that need to be passed, things get changed, need to be changed. But it does come from you. And I know it's hard out there. Some people out there just like, I can't do anything. Like, no, that's why you say you got to find people out there, candidates like Seneca, who are saying, I'm here for you. Let's work this out together. And I think that's what the main gist of this whole, why I have him on here. So that's the point. He's here. He's here for you. So Seneca, thanks for being on the show, of course. Tell people where they can follow your campaign or follow you at all that goodness.
Yes, that is at World Wide Web. Seneca for Oakland. Let me make sure I got this.
It's Seneca for Oakland Mayor
2022.com.
I know it also.
You got it.
Yes, I know it also.
Yes.
I'll put it in the
so go to it because I have so much stuff that we need to sort it to the top so people can find it easier, because all these news articles come up about me.
Yeah.
And like, I need to get like a blue check or something like that. I must be kind of famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when is the election?
November 3rd is the official election. But we have mail-in ballots in California.
Okay, that's right.
So everything changed. The election happens when those mail-in ballots hit the home, maybe I think 2 months before the election.
Yeah.
So, I don't have that exact date, but that is the election date for me in my head and our team, and everybody who's a serious candidate. I'm sure they'll be doing the same. It was that way last election. It was the first time we had it, and California kept the mail-in ballot, so everybody gets a ballot at their house.
Well, I'm rooting for you. I wish I could vote, but I do have people in Oakland. So I said I'm going to vote. I'm passing this on.
Every vote matters. This one, it's going to be really close.
Yeah,
and we need every vote and every dollar. We are not like a special interest candidate, so we represent the neighbors. So we're going to have to get support from the neighbors. Because we don't have like developers or anybody, trying to give us a bunch of money, because we represent the neighbors, right? It's a sacrifice to represent the people, and I think that it's worth it. So check the website out and support. Tell your neighbors to vote. Schedule a meeting with me, and we'll come to where you're at in your neighborhood and talk to you.
Yes. Seneca Scott, folks, running for mayor. That's what he's doing, Mayor of Oakland, California. I'm James Lott Jr., and you can follow me everywhere too. Please, if anything, wherever you are, hopefully it's an example of looking for people, looking for candidates in your cities also that may align more with what you believe. Don't just assume everybody's out there going to look out for you, or they won't look out for you. Maybe somebody actually is out there who has the same interests as you do. So check them out, see what they're doing. Check out their background, vet your candidates. That's what they say. It's a website. Check him out. See what he's talking about. See what articles being written. See what he's saying. Ask him questions. That's what he's here for. He's here to serve you, the public of Oakland, the city of Oakland. That's what he's here to serve.
Be accountable.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Accountability. That's what it is. We love it. So
accessible and accountable. The exact opposite of what we got right now.
Okay. There you have it, kids. See you next time.
Thank you.